Richard, does it pain me does it pain you like me watching Ryan play for Texas, knowing how much success Ronnie had here at Arkansas and he wasn't too far away in St. Louis? Does that just hurt your mind, body, and soul seeing that?
Yeah, it does. It does. I might have told you, I'm pretty sure I've told you, but of all the parents I've gotten to know through the years, Ronnie Wingo Sr. is like a brother to me. We communicate weekly, and I text him I think after that Vanderbilt game, and just told him, well, man, Ryan just showed out. He's been showing out the last few games for sure. So he's been a go-to guy. But that Ryan's just such a great kid, and just gotten to know the family since Ronnie Jr.'s recruiting days, and stayed close to him. And I always told him, wherever you go, I'm going to be cheering for you. But it would have been nicer if it would have been here. Obviously, would have been able to see him more often. So, but I'm still happy for him.
You get to know a lot of kids and families over the years. I know kickers aren't as highly paid attention to when they get to campus, but Cam Little comes to Fayetteville as I think the highest rated kicker according to Coles, and has a good freshman year, sophomore year, and junior, and now is one of the better kickers in the National Football League. How happy were you, Richard, to see him achieve what he did Sunday and kick that 68-yarder, break an NFL record?
He's just a really personable, outgoing kid. That's the way he was in high school, and obviously at Arkansas, and still he's that way in the NFL. And he didn't really. I can't recall any time when I thought he probably did something he probably shouldn't have done at Arkansas or in the NFL. I'm talking about character-wise and stuff like that. So whenever you get a guy like that, you always root for him, and to make that history. And then that ball, it was probably good from 73, 74. So he'll top 70 at some point. There's no doubt he'll get that opportunity, and you just hope he's able to capitalize. It's pretty special, obviously.
Richard Davenport with us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, brought to you by the House of Webster. Let's recap this past weekend, who was visiting, and maybe some of the fallout and some of the follow-up you've had from a weekend where Arkansas lost to Mississippi State. I know there were quite a few visitors on campus.
Yeah, well, you had Danny Beal from Cross County, who was committed to Oklahoma State. And I saw him and his dad before the game, and they seem to be pretty excited about the visit. He's a consensus 4-star guy at a position of need, obviously at defensive tackle. So I think with him, he'll just see where this coaching search goes, and if it's if Coach Petrino's still here, I think it probably helps a little bit because Coach Petrino's been talking to him, and I think he kind of really likes that the head coach is communicating with him. So and there were some other kids, a lot of commitments and stuff like that. Even Blair Irvin, who told me his tweet was kind of not definite about his recruiting. He just said he's 100%. His recruitment was 100% open. So I communicated with him and said, "Is this a decommitment?" Because until they say, hey, I'm reopening or I decommitted or something like that, you got to specify with them to make sure that that's what their intentions were with that with social media. So he told me he needed to open things up. So, but he's an in-state guy, obviously at Bentonville. I think once the new coach is announced, he'll probably be a priority. And I think obviously an in-state guy, it's more the odds are better than say an out-of-state guy and maybe trying to get him back on board.
Yeah. What is there? I think there's 29 seniors on this Arkansas roster, plus whoever you lose in the portal. I mean, I don't see any way you don't have maybe potentially the biggest number you've ever had, but certainly north of 40 new players on this roster next year, Richard.
Yeah, and obviously, I think a lot of people were kind of, pretty happy about not having that spring portal time. Well, for a school like Arkansas, they're going to have to try to get everything done, obviously, during that January period. So it may be a disadvantage for Arkansas because you're trying to get all those guys, that you need in a short period of time, where if you had that spring portal season, you still had an opportunity to add to that. So I think for new schools, I mean, for schools with new, our new head coach, it's a disadvantage, but it's obviously an advantage for schools that didn't have a coaching change.
So how does this affect the kind of the macro of the situation with 105 scholarships now, schools being able to, having the expanded roster? How does that change everything? I don't know how many diamonds in the rough are hanging out in those extra 25, but scholarships, but it also, it does change maybe your approach to some degree if you got some developmental players.
Yeah, well, you're talking high school kids, correct?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the early signing periods can't come at a worse time for a school going through a coaching change. December the 4th through the 6th, where it used to be like December the 21st through the 23rd or something like that. The third week, at least you were able to get some guys that maybe if you had a coaching change, say 1st of December, you still had about 2.5, 3 weeks to try to salvage a recruiting class as far as high school kids. Here, it's now you're going to have to pretty much wait. You try if you are hired 1st of December, you're in a really a rush to reach out to those guys that are committed or have been committed and try to convince them to sign during the early signing period. And obviously, maybe some guys that you recruited at your old school, try to sway them over to where you are now. But then it's going to be such a disadvantage for the new coach. But then you wait for February, and the talent pool is obviously reduced greatly. Mm-hmm. So that first-year coach and staff always takes a good hit as far as the high school recruiting class that first year.
I don't want to list anyone by name specifically, but for the other classmen, especially the in-state guys, how do you fend off other suitors right now? The team's probably not going to win the rest of the way. They've lost 7 straight. How do you convince kids to stay on campus for a coach they don't even know who he is yet, Richard?
It's difficult. There's no way around it. I mean, here's the deal: the kids they need to look out for themselves, because there's no guarantee whoever the new coach is that they'll honor their commitments. There's a good chance they probably will, but not everyone possibly would be honored. Mm-hmm. So it's a me world right now. And you can't blame a kid right now for looking at their options.
When you think about college football right now, heading into this upcoming transfer portal cycle and everything going on in the SEC, how much could that play into the role of keeping Petrino, trying to keep some continuity when it comes to whatever the next coaching staff looks like?
I think it is important, but how much that's going to weigh on the decision on the new coach, who knows? But it definitely helps, for guys that are currently on the team, if they feel confident in Coach Petrino's ability to go forward and include them. Maybe they don't feel included or in the plans of Coach Petrino, so that they may look elsewhere. But definitely has its advantages as far as maybe keeping more guys, on the roster. But at the same time, there may be some that say, I don't feel like I'm a good fit, and others think they would be a good fit. So I think it would overall benefit Arkansas, but at the same time, I'm sure there obviously is going to be some changes, even if he is the guy.
Last thing before we let you go, Richard, Dave England passed away this week. Spent nearly 40 years with Razorback Athletics as a trainer. I know he dealt with a lot of guys that you got to know over the years via recruiting. Any thoughts on the passing of one of the Razorback pillars this week in Dave England?
You can just say he was just a sweetheart of a guy. I mean, he was just such a gentle guy that you felt comfortable with him the moment you spoke with him, and he was easy to communicate with and feel at ease. And he obviously cared for all the kids, and you could tell that. And on social media, how people were coming out and praising him. And the only thing that I look at, he retired in 2019. He got about 5-6 years of retirement. You just wished he would have had a few more years to enjoy, just being able to deal, to have a retirement lifestyle a little longer. That's one of the sad things too.
Mm-hmm.